Did you yell at people?
Yeah, just my roommate. He's not very aware of how loud he is.
Gotcha. Is your roommate into soccer?
Yes, but he's slightly of the Euro snob persuasion.
Uh-oh.
He's a fan of Man City and Landon Donovan in that order.
Well, I guess I can't fault the Landon pick. Where's he
His
from?
name is Landon, and he's from LA.
Okay. Well, he should like the Galaxy then, at least.
He's okay with the Galaxy, and at least he's not of the he's not one of the types who forego all MLS watching. He used to be back when Dallas, unfortunately, there's a story in FC Dallas kind of lore of one of the seasons in between founding and moving into our own stadium. We played at a high school football stadium in the suburbs.
Right. What was it, Oh no,
South Lake
Houston played in Robertson Stadium. Where'd y'all
yeah,
play?
South Lake High School's or Carroll High School's Dragon Stadium in South
Dragon
Lake.
Stadium. That's right. I remember that.
But at that point in time, his older brother went to that high school and they lived in that neighborhood. So it was a 10-minute walk for him to go to games.
Yeah.
So the whole family had season tickets that year.
Okay.
They were basically a third of the crowd.
Oh dear.
Well, you're playing in an 8,000 seat high school stadium with permanent lines on the field that you can't remove. They couldn't sell alcohol. They only
Right.
had one side with concession stands that were properly filled. The other ones had like 2 stands, but they weren't full functioning. And it was not a good time.
This is the old Dallas Burn. Was that when y'all still had Jason Kreis?
This was one of his final seasons in Dallas
Okay.
at that point in time. Because that would have been the 04 season, and I think it was either... That was very likely his last season, because I believe right after that RSL was founded.
Wait, that was the 04 season? I thought we played in y'all's new stadium for the MLS Cup in the 04 season.
That was... I gotta check this now, because I want to say MLS Cup was 05 and 06, because I think we hosted Houston both times. I guess
Okay.
the earthquakes.
Where did we play that final then? I should know where we won our MLS Cups, but I don't.
Who are you a fan of?
DC.
Okay. Okay, it was 03 that year.
Okay. And that was the year.
Yeah.
Oh no,
FC
we won
Dallas-
that. We
FC
won our
Dallas-
MLS.
FC
What's
Dallas
that?
Stadium Toyota Stadium opened in 05,
Okay.
and let's see.
Yeah, we won our cup at the Home Depot Center that year. Apparently, I know we won. I know in '96 we won in at Foxborough. In '97 we won in our own stadium. In '99 I think we won.
Foxborough hosted
In,
96, 99.
Yeah.
Uh,
Foxborough hosted '99 too. Okay, I did not.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Dallas has hosted 05 and 06. Both times the Earthquakes won. Playing in
Oh, the
orange.
Dynamo. Right.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, if you can call them that. I don't know. That's a big point of grief in Dallas soccer history. Is Dallas had to fight tooth and nail to get the MLS team. We had to have Lamar Hunt swoop in because no major businesses were willing to front all of the initial investment.
Yeah.
And despite us being one of the few markets that was stable during the NASL, we had more ownership stability than Portland, Vancouver, or Seattle during the old NASL. We lasted from 68 until folding. One of the
Wow.
only teams to make it the entire duration of the NASL was the Dallas Tornado. That's why Dallas is so big on Lamar Hunt, is because
Right.
he owned the Tornado from start to finish and swooped in when we needed an MLS team in '96 and lobbied and fought for the stadium shortly before he died to get us our new venue, and now his kids run it.
Well, how's his kid? I actually hear that. Well, you told me that his kid is doing a pretty good job so far.
Oh my god. I don't know if you know the whole 2012 story, but on
No,
Christmas.
you should tell it though.
Okay. In 2012, Dallas had another end of the midseason collapse with a bunch of injuries. We
Right.
lost Ugo Ahemelu in May to concussion in the Rapids. That would be a career-ending injury, and he was our captain at that point in time. Most of our starting midfield wound up getting injured, the usual heat, plague, and injuries knocking us out. So we didn't make the playoffs. Breck had another crazy year with Shellis playing him as a fullback, as a lone forward, and as a defensive midfielder, none of which are positions he's comfortable playing.
Right.
And then when he would get angry because he's frustrated on the field playing woefully out of position, Shellis wouldn't be willing to really listen to anything about it. Then Daniel Hernandez was the assistant captain that year and had been with the team for several years. He's a Dallas soccer icon. He retired at the end of the year and was due to become an assistant coach. Within 3 weeks of him retiring and taking the coaching role, they fired him because of a contractual dispute between his personal Nike sponsorship and Dallas's Adidas sponsorship. Apparently he wore the wrong brand to an event, so they sacked him. And then
good.
Doug Quinn, the FC Dallas president, got arrested on Christmas Day in New York City for beating up his wife in a drunken rage.
I remember that. That was fun on Twitter that day.
Yeah, so at that point we had our president in jail, our captain in the hospital, our assistant captain and to-be assistant coach sacked, our head coach having gotten us out of the playoffs, and most of our starters frustrated with the team.
And then Breck Shea was sold, right? After that year to Stoke?
Was sold right after that. So we had no captain, no assistant captain, no Breck Shea, and David Ferreira was still injured, and Kevin Hartman went to New York City because he couldn't agree. He was planning on retiring and then wound up going to New York City instead. So we had no goalkeeper, none of our main midfield.
Kevin Hartman, I got fond memories of him. He played for LA for a while, and then he's like those first few years, and then he went and played for y'all and was really good for y'all. And then
he played for Kansas City too for a while, and then came there. And mainly Shellis was those last few years under Shellis were some very frustrating deals. He managed to bring in Blas Perez, but the bulk of the crazy deals at that point, like all of the guys you see now playing for Dallas, were brought in by the Hunts, because that's when Clark Hunt appointed Dan interim president, where Clark would run the ownership and handle the financial side of it, and Dan got to be the head of the figurehead of the team and make some of the decisions. So Dan is the guy who got Mauro Diaz. He's the guy who signed Raul Fernandez, who made the MLS All-Star game last year.
Right.
He helped finalize the Breck Shea deal and get that massive transfer fee we wanted. That was all the Hunts, because Doug Quinn was still in jail by that point. He got contracts for the first team for Kellen Acosta, Walker Zimmerman, Victor Ulloa, and Zimmerman and Acosta have both scored between their debuts last year and now. And Acosta has been a regular starter this year already. They also
Mhm.
brought in Michelle, who
Right, right.
what with the goal of his goal of the year nominations. Um, they've extended the beer garden seating. They've been more open with working with the supporter groups and getting them more involved with the decisions inside the stadium by giving the drum line we use actually take cues from the beer guardian capos. So
Okay,
it's the supporters leading the chants, and then our drum line fills in. And drum line's kind of Dallas's thing.
okay.
Dallas has won more national championships at high school and college level in drumline than the rest of the United States and Texas combined.
Interesting.
Yeah, my alma mater alone is responsible for 11 national championship titles in drumline.
Which
And a
alma
lot
mater is that?
it's my high school, Marcus High School.
Gotcha. Okay.
They are a marching music powerhouse in North Texas, and drumline has sort of developed into its own unique, crazy game in Dallas, and that's kind of why we have our drumline.
I went to a high school that was pretty big on the marching band too. We actually went to the Rose Bowl a few times. I didn't because I was in orchestra, but
What school is
Broughton High
that?
School, Broughton High School in Raleigh. They were big on the color guard, but they
Yeah,
marching
I
band
think
went.
we've watched some of their stuff. Our band director is big on showing schools from around the country shows to us to see what everyone else does.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, we were like one of 5 high schools to go to the Rose Bowl, and then
Yeah.
we went again. So that was
Yep.
sweet.
My school
But yeah,
never did that or parades because my director hated parades because she went to LSU.
well, parades from what I'm told kind of suck if you're in marching band.
It really
Like the whole
sucked.
like everything was great in Pasadena according to my marching band friends, except for the whole parade part.
And that's the
So,
longest, most obnoxious part of the ordeal. I played cymbals when we would march in parades, and
uh-huh.
when it's hot out, you've got these massive heat-retaining bronze discs strapped to your hands, and when it's cold out, you're basically getting frostbite.
Right.
Your arms will be fixed like this for 45 minutes following the parade.
Yeah, I've marched twice in my life, and those 2 times I was very grateful I played the piccolo.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, incidentally, we've done like 5 minutes of the interview without actually introducing you. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do that now.
Yeah.
And then I'll just add in that stuff we were just talking about later. Um, So yeah, here we are with John Leonard, or is it Leonard, or what
Leonard.
is it? Leonard.
Leonard.
Okay. All right. Pete is definitely going to mispronounce that when we come back from break, but he is here to talk FC Dallas, the history of Dallas soccer, a little bit about the really silly Oklahoma City situation in the lower leagues, and a little bit more. So, yeah, introduce yourself, your username, your favorite team. Obviously, it's Dallas, probably, and we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm John MLTX, John Leonard. I'm the guy who runs the OKC Energy subreddit. I'm the guy who ran the Antigua Barracuda subreddit. I'm the guy with the weird mismatched flair that says OKC Energy but has the Barracuda crest.
Hmm.
And,
Yeah, I noticed that. It is kind of weird because it's not like there's anything special about the Barracuda crest either. It's just sad.
well, I was a legitimate fan of the team for a little while because I thought, going back to 2012, at that point, Antigua still technically had a shot at qualifying for the World Cup.
Hmm.
Their team was made up of, it was essentially like the old Team America from the 70s NASL days where the national
Right.
team was playing in a pro league. And
Right.
at that point in time, they were actually doing well attendance-wise. Their 2 years where they had home games, they were averaging 3,000, 4,000 fans a game. They were one of the stronger teams through the gate in USL Pro.
So what
Which makes
happened?
it, well, Antigua had the problem where their soccer association, or their FA, was embezzling the money given from FIFA for stadium renovations and team funding and was putting it into other places, mainly their national cricket ground, because cricket is bigger, because the sports ministry had too much power, the overall national sports ministry versus the soccer people, and the money wasn't getting spent where it needed to. And they weren't paying players wages for a little while, and USL essentially took the team away from them because they wanted to at least put it in the hands of management who could. It seems like they were putting it in the hands of management who at least were responsible enough to pay the players at some point, but that didn't happen either, and the team just wound up traveling that last year with no home games because I think they lost the right to use the stadium from all of the financial embezzlement and legal issues and all that. I'm not entirely sure because they've been ridiculously awful about putting out press releases.
Right.
But the bulk of the team still played that last season. They played every single game that last season, even though, they spent the entire year on the road, didn't get a single visit back to the island until the season ended. By that
Didn't
point,
get a point either.
No points, no chance of qualifying for the World Cup, being away from their families, little to no wages outside of the bits of food and airfare that they were being provided in some ways by the league. And it really takes a lot of guts to say, I'm not going to get paid. I'm going to be spending all of the money I'm getting on getting to the next game and eating. But I'm still going to go play the full 26-game season and take it seriously.
Now, I remember the Antigua story was actually pretty cool because there was a game they played against America where they only lost like 3-1. And it was like, all these players play for Antigua Barracuda and USL, and that's why they're so like cohesive and coherent. And then so that was like a really cool story in